Hello, I'm Pastor Jeremy Combs, and we're going to pause for a proverb. Let's go. Proverbs chapter 8, verses 20 and 21 say, I lead in the way of righteousness in the midst of the paths of judgment, that I may cause those that love me to inherit substance, and I will fill their treasures. You know, everybody in life wants to know where they need to go, where to go to school, where to work, where to find a spouse. Wisdom, rather than showing us where to go, shows us how we are to go. We're to be like God. This is the idea of righteousness. In Genesis 15 and verse 6, we find the first occurrence of that word righteousness. And God is giving Abraham a promise of where he has been and where he's going. Before God tells Abraham where, he tells him how he has and will get to his final destination. This way is by, you know it, by faith, which leads to Abraham being, and here it is, counted righteous. Abraham had to believe before he could be blessed. Same is true for us. If we want to know where we're going, it requires faith. And if we want to be blessed, it first has to be believed in. Wisdom leads us to make right decisions. This is the word judgment, path of judgment by faith, so that we may receive God's blessings, which are described as being both enduring and enriching. These, like Abraham's blessings, are spiritual riches rather than physical. Verses 22 and 23 continue, the Lord possessed me in the beginning of his way, before his works of old. I was set up from everlasting, from the beginning, or ever the earth was. God in wisdom created the world and all that is therein. It was not by chance or circumstance, but by his glorious and grand design. This clears up a lot of heartache and confusion when it comes to life on this earth. Life's not a mistake, neither is it an endless, hopeless cycle, as some believe it to be. Life from beginning to middle and then to the end is divinely orchestrated by wisdom. God, by wisdom, started life. Before God made a sun, a moon, a mountain, or river, he desired and designed his greatest creation on earth, and that's you. The word possessed means to create, to purchase. We rightfully belong to God, for he's the one that gave us life. Then, when we sinned, he saved our life. Jesus, God's Son, declared before Adam ever sinned that he would come and redeem us from sin. That all happened before Genesis 1 and verse number 1. Man, what a wise God we have. And then one final set of verses, verses 24 and 25. When there were no depths, I was brought forth. When there were no fountains abounding with water, before the mountains were settled, before the hills was I brought forth. Thomas Aquinas said, the scale of perfection evident in the universe implies the existence of an absolute standard, a perfect being. We see God as we look around at his creation, from the highest mountain to the depths of the deep sea. These verses bring a strong defense against a chaotic or evolutionary evolving beginning. Instead, wisdom is clearly present in a design of a complex and wonderful creation. Life, obviously, is clearly intentional, whereas on the human side of things, we may think that, well, baby was a mistake. God reminds all that life is always by design, even if it's not our design. It takes three to create life on earth: a man, a woman, and it takes God. Know a lot of men and women who have wanted to have children, husbands and wives, but they didn't. And that's because God, the designer, for whatever reasons, didn't give them those children. Life has the design, but it also has a direction. The direction of creation is toward God. In fact, before man ever reads a verse of God's word in its creation, it is creation that testifies of the divine being with an intentional plan for man and all his creation. Hey, you are designed and you are directed by a divine God. What a great thought that is.